The following podcast is an enticing media production.
Where the Nell have you been? Join us for conversation about life, business, and everything in between. Welcome to What the Nell, where we've got stories to tell. Here's your host, Nell Tice.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of the What the Nell podcast, the EcoPreneur's Edge edition, with my good friend, Mikee Bence. Mikee, welcome back to the final episode of season 1 of the EcoPreneur's Edge. How are you doing today?
Hi, Nell. Thank you for having me yet again. I'm doing very well, and I just have to say, can you believe we made it through an entire season?
We did. We made it, and here we are unscathed. We covered so many topics, and we're looking forward to covering more.
We are, but I did notice you said season 1 of the EcoPreneur's Edge. Is that alluding to something?
I think you might be right, Mikee. You're very observant.
I do what I can.
That may or may not mean that season 2 is forthcoming.
Well, without spoiling anything, we may or may not have already come up with some ideas for what a potential season 2 might look like. So you heard it here first, listeners, and those watching on YouTube, you saw it here first.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I'm so excited because we have a lot of things that we want to cover in season 2 because the story has just begun to be told, and there's so much more to cover. But we've already covered a lot. I think that, we should go through what we've covered. What do you think we really did well, and what do you think we could probably stand to focus a little bit more on in the future?
I love doing this because this is a huge part of our SMART goal setting system. Mm-hmm. Also the scientific method. So we kind of set out to explore the edge that we can have as sustainable business owners, whether that's protecting the environment, protecting our businesses, which looks like taking care of ourselves, using physical fitness as a tool for mental and emotional regulation, using financial tools to set our business in place and set our long-term life into place. I think we did a really good job at recalling some of the stuff from the previous episodes to share and expound on that. Podcast formats are a little weird because you don't know who's listened and who has that foundation that we've set, but I feel like we were able to share the knowledge very well while building on some of the prior episodes. So I think that we did that amazing.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And you're right. It is a little weird because you have metrics like downloads and listens, but you don't know who they are. It's not like being able to go to a certain Facebook post and seeing who saw your post that day. So it's a little strange, but we rely heavily on feedback and reviews and things like that, which I hope that we can actually garner more of in season 2. But it's very hard to get people to engage with something that's not actually happening in real time. So, that's always a double-edged sword. But I think you're right. I think, too, that we covered such a broad range of topics. And I would love to focus more on the business sustainability side. But my heart says we need to focus more on the environmentalist side, too. So maybe a little bit of mingling both a bit more.
It does make sense to me, and I think that I have 2 businesses that are thriving while mingling that business sustainability and eco-friendly sustainability. Yeah. And as I've said in previous episodes, it wasn't something that was easy, but it was something that I believe in, and now that I've done it, I literally know that it can be done.
Yes, if you can do it, anyone can do it, right? So, absolutely. What do you hope as far as the future goes for sustainability in general? Not even just for the podcast, but what do you really hope to see in the future?
This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart, and why this has become special to me is for many reasons. But the number one reason, there tends to be a lot of doom and gloom when people are talking about the present when it comes to, geopolitical, socioeconomical, happenings and situations and current events.
Sure.
And there are, lots of social media engagement that's triggering and stuff like that. So I tend to turn to the future when I need hope and inspiration. And there are many people out there who have shown me their insights, their research, their things that they're developing, things that we haven't even seen yet, or a lot of people haven't even imagined. So when I think of those possible future events, I just get so uplifted and so inspired. And I'm like, I'll share a little bit about me. I think that it would be really cool for humanity to become a multi-planetary species. And while I love the idea of kind of protecting our literal humanity by not having all of our eggs in one basket, my commitment to saving this planet is still, top priority. But the fun thought for me is being the first pole dancing hairdresser on Mars, because I say, look, I have all of these qualities. I know about environmental sustainability. I'm a great, mediator. I work well with others. I have great leadership qualities. But if all of those things aren't good enough to get me on, one of the first rockets to Mars, I can also, with the reduced gravity, I can be the flag. So I'm like, come on, if distilling water, growing a garden, being, pretty healthy and virile, if all of these qualities aren't good, like I can also be the flag. I could probably hold that for about 18 hours before I needed a break.
Well, Mikey, I think you better start training for that, because I think that could absolutely be very possible. And I love how you're willing to serve this humanity in any capacity, literally in an out of this world type of way.
So the reason that I think about this, and that to me is actually like a bit short term, but I want to ask you now, before we dive into kind of like, what we want and how we see the future. How far into the future have you looked? I know we talked in the financial tools episode about, retirement age, but like, beyond that, how far can you see?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think about in the terms of genetics and how long family members live, but then I look towards how they live and how they've treated themselves over the years. And I'm really confident that I can live probably pretty well into my 90s. And I want people to have a better understanding of how sustainability can not only affect and help us and our own sustainability, our livelihoods, but the world around us. I just want there to be more understanding, and I want there to be comprehension about why it's so important to focus on all facets of sustainability, because I still see myself enjoying life at 90 years old. I think it's really cool when I see an Instagram reel of a woman that's running in the Boston Marathon at 89, 90. I want to be one of those women that a media outlet says, hey, she's doing something really cool. Let's go interview her. So that's my goal. And that's how far I see into the future.
I love that so much. I'm always reminded, because this is my niche, of the, 70-some-year-olds who are still out there doing pole dance routines.
Oh, that's amazing.
Or I think there's like she went viral like last year-ish, maybe the year before, 2022, 2023, of the 80-some-year-old gymnast who was still doing parallel bars and floor routines. And like that's inspiring and something that I aspire to do. If I can still do a handstand at 70, I'm winning.
Oh my gosh, I can't do a handstand at 39. So if that's a possibility to learn that and be able to do it at 70, I am all for it.
But while all of that is so amazing to keep in the forefront of our minds, because we do need to take care of the now to have a future,
Yes.
which is why I'm Mikey with two E's. The two E's stand for the environment, which is always number one. If we don't have an environment, I can't care about everyone because there will be no one. I have been exposed to some brilliant minds, brilliant media, consumed some great, TED Talks and stuff about what they like to call the deep future. The farthest out that I have imagined, it wasn't my own musings, but it was I think it was a YouTube content creator that I watched. It was called Time Lapse of the Future.
Ooh.
It literally was the same way a time lapse video would take a big chunk of time and break it down into, small frames, second by second. It literally went out to the point where like the sun, our beautiful beloved sun, grew. It ran out of fuel and it started expanding, and it swallowed Mercury, Venus, and potentially the Earth, depending on how that reaction goes. So like that's my motivation to get to Mars. It might not look the same, but like if the sun swallows the Earth, where do we go?
Yeah.
The only way to get to Mars is to make sure that we're taking care of this planet long enough that we can do what we need to do in sustainable closed loops, that we can go to Mars, that we can go to Jupiter if we need to, that we can go beyond there. But after that was such a teeny tiny thing. Like there's times in the universe's future where most of the stars will have used all their energy, and they will either supernova and explode to smithereens, or they will collapse into a black hole, or white neutron stars. That's what it is.
Right.
And so there could be a time, if we can get our act together, when the human species has colonized the entire universe, and who knows who or what we'll meet out there, but there are no stars, and we will have had to come up with sufficient technology to then harvest our energy from black holes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That is
'Cause
something that
will-
I never even considered.
There will be no sunlight. There will be no starlight left.
Yeah.
So when I think about, man, it would be so silly if some apocalyptic catastrophe wiped us out in 2024 when we're recording this, and we never even got the opportunity to explore what it would look like to harvest energy from black holes.
Yeah.
And then what next? Like
Yeah.
the black holes are theorized, to the best of our knowledge, to also lose energy through what they call Hawking radiation. And so the black holes one day will go out. They will just cease to exist.
Oh
What do we do to power our infinite, multi-planetary? I feel like the genie from Aladdin. Infinite cosmic power. But so what comes next? And between now and then, there's a lot of time. You and I most likely will not be around to see that. But I am inspired to make my environmental commitment even stricter and stronger, so that whomever is alive at that time has the best chance possible.
Yes, I love that. And especially because since, the two E's, environment and everyone, and I love how you put emphasis on environment first, because without it, there is no one. But when you say everyone, you obviously clearly mean everyone, not just while you're on this earth, which I absolutely love that. And I think we also need to maybe put a few eggs in the Elon Musk basket to help us get the technology and the vessels to catapult us to other spots in the universe. And, that's also coming too. And that's coming faster than I think any of us maybe even thought about or realized. And in our lifetime, I really do think that we may see that ability. What do you think?
Well, the latest news that I heard. So first, concerning Mr. Musk, or how I sometimes, that just to be funny, I know that there's many opinions. I call him Martian Monarch Musk. Because who knows what that's going to look like. There has to be a lot of discussion and mediation and regulation put into place for all of that. We don't know what that looks like yet, but there is something to be said about how much, whether I agree with the personalized opinions that come out of his mouth, he has inspired me in my own businesses to continue my mission, what I'm doing, and to innovate ways that I can do even better. But with that aside, all opinions are valid.
Yes.
All behaviors are not. Don't get mad in the reviews because we're talking about a polarizing figure.
Yes.
But all opinions aside, the best news that I've heard is we're at that space where we just passed Mars at the closest, I think it's called epigee or something like that.
Right.
So we have 2-year window before Mars is as close to us as it just was, which is when the first non-manned spaceships from SpaceX will start heading towards Mars to check out what the journey is like. If all of that is successful, we will have another 2-year window as Mars and the Earth rotate around the sun and come back to their closest spot. And then if everything goes well, like we could literally have humans going to Mars by 2028 or 2029.
That is absolutely wild to think about. So here's a question. The first commercial flight, are you on it or are you not?
Well, I am motivated by legacy. I think I've mentioned that on an episode before. So, my goal every day is to keep doing amazing things, sharing my knowledge as freely and as far as I can, in hopes that one day I will have made enough of an impact that somebody writes my Wikipedia page. I'm not a huge fan of, taking up land and space in cemeteries, cremation. I don't necessarily want to, make people feel the reminder of sitting on the mantle,
Yes.
But I think that it would be cool to live on infinitely as far as digital technology will go on a Wikipedia page. So yes, I would be on that flight if I was allowed.
That's the best explanation ever. That's so great. I do agree with you. I've always thought about, I love the fact that you can become a tree. I want to be able to give life. And I know that Pennsylvania, I may not be in Pennsylvania at that point. I don't know. But I would love to be something life-giving. And I think a tree is a really great, that's so, people are going to listen to this and say, that's so Nell. She wants to be a tree. And I am okay with that. And it's life-giving, it's oxygen-giving, it's earth. I love it. But no, I think that the Wikipedia page is the perfect explanation of how legacy could be left for you. So, I think we talked a little bit before we started recording about, and I kind of want to put some emphasis on this because it's such a huge part of people's lives. And I think it's something that we can definitely expand on in season 2 and maybe even create a little bit of a cliffhanger here. But the topic of convenience is something that comes up quite a bit in eco realms. So we've got, prepackaged plastics and things like that. And, when you go to a barbecue, there's paper plates and plastic utensils and things like that. What are your thoughts on convenience and how we can still maintain sustainability while still introducing convenience into our lifestyles?
So, great question. I love this. Luckily, I have been able to go about my life and my businesses and find the convenient alternatives that people sometimes aren't even aware of. So while it was a little bit of a tedious switch when I first started, now my life goes, hand in hand with my mission. It's funny, I have another recording to do today, and I always introduce myself. I'm Mikee with 2 E's. I'm broadcasting from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, always with renewable energy. And so while it was an upfront, time investment and money investment and lifestyle investment, now it's just like, all right, I'm going to do all these things. I'm going to record a season of a podcast with my dear friend Nell. And so now that I have this knowledge. I love sharing it, as I said. And what I found is that there are things that, even if they take a little bit, and the only reason it took me a lot of time in the beginning is because not many other people were talking about what I'm talking about.
Right.
But now I'm talking about it. So and Nell is talking about it, and there are plenty of other resources. So we have found the, best information that we can find to easily and quickly share it with you all. Yeah. So there's no reason in my life anymore to trade convenience for sustainability, because I can have it all.
That's the mic drop moment.
The Mikee drop.
The Mikee drop.
We made it.
I feel like that has to be its own segment in season 2. We need to have a Mikee drop moment in each episode. Okay, I'm writing that down too. There's so much exciting stuff coming, you guys.
I feel like we've had in each episode, whether we knew it or not. I've listened to each episode because I texted Nell the other day and was like, I love listening because when I'm doing it, I feel like I'm in podcast mode and I can't really consume what I'm speaking about. But when I consume it later, I feel like there's been like a Mikee drop moment in every episode.
Oh, there has been for sure. And it's really interesting when you listen to these episodes back and you're in the moment, you feel one way, you get passionate about something and you're talking about it. And then I always look at the, as a consumer, as I'm listening to this podcast, do I feel I got the value out of what we talked about and everything? And so far, I've been really happy with being a consumer of the series because I really do feel like there has been so much value, and I have to give many props to you for that because you've basically done all of the research for each topic that we've approached, whether it be environmental, financial, business, everything, statistics, the wheel of life, and everything. You have been the one to come up with all of that knowledge. So thank you for that.
These, number one, you're welcome. I'm really bad at taking compliments. My therapist always says, just say thank you and keep it moving. So thank you, and I'm going to keep it moving. But these are just the best things that I've been able to find, and I love researching, and I'm usually pretty quick at it. So when I find something new, I love being able to kind of scour the web, use the resources, whether that's people or books or, yes, I still have books. I'm not old.
Books?
But
oh my gosh.
I love being able to quickly go through, kind of suss out what I need to suss out and, make a note, make a list, make a spreadsheet, like do something that I'm going to have this knowledge if and when I need it in the future for myself or to share. And then I'm still an active part in this community. I can't remember if I've plugged it on here or not, but I am a founding member of the Green Beauty community. Mm-hmm. The 501c organization that is trying to bring together the beauty professionals of the world and create the vision that you and I have been talking about on the EcoPreneur's Edge. Yeah. So we're still in meetings, once a week, maybe sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, figuring out what is still working, reassessing the situation, just like we did at the beginning of this episode, and figuring out what our new goals are going to be, or how to share this new information, or what we're going to talk about, if and whenever we're talking about it. So this is a culmination. This first season of EcoPreneur's Edge is the culmination of all the things that I've already done. The next seasons are going to be taking the journey of what's still to come.
Oh, I love that. That's Mikee drop moment number 2. So you're welcome, everyone. That's amazing, Mikee. I think this is a really good place to wrap up this episode, say goodbye to season 1 and hello to season 2. And we do want to make sure that we sincerely thank you all for listening and consuming this content and watching on YouTube, of course. And of course, if there's anything that you'd like to see, if there's a spot for you on an episode as a guest, we happily recommend and welcome that. We are looking to bring in some other brilliant minds into season 2. So we're really excited about that. So please get in touch with us. There's many ways you can do that in the show notes for sure. And Mikee, any last thoughts to wrap up this season?
Yes, I just want to expound on that. I know I mentioned a few times that if you contact me on social media, I'm at Metro Mikey on all platforms. I don't always respond quickly, but I will always respond. And I'm going to put out 2 asks from our audience and listeners and viewers on YouTube, because you can watch us if you have somebody was like, I need to watch it. And I was like, well, I know you have auditory, whatever situation you have, but it's on YouTube, so you can watch it and listen to it.
Yeah.
But my ask is that we all just band together and we do 5% more. We don't need to go 150% in this journey. We just need to start with 5%. If everyone does the 5%, we're going to get there so easily, so fast, and it's going to be an enjoyable journey. So keep doing the 5%. And then my other ask is that you do engage with our content. We love the ratings and reviews. We love the comments on YouTube. We love the Facebook comments when we share a reel. We love the Instagram shares to your story on Instagram, on all the platforms. Just I ask that you engage with the content, because that's going to help people who might not understand this mission become aware of this mission and be able to join the good fight.
Ah, I love that so much. Everything that Mikey just said, yes, I second all of that. The engagement is really what spreads the word, and we really want to spread the word. If you think it's important, that means someone else thinks it's important, and we can reach more in our community that are just as like-minded about the environment, our businesses, our financial health, our well-being, everything as we are. So thank you, Mikey, for an incredible season. I can't wait to start season 2. And thank you all again for listening, watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, What the Nell podcast on YouTube. Like this video and all the other ones, of course. And as always, I will catch you on the next one.
To learn more about how to tell your story, connect with Nell at enticingmedia.com. That's ENTICEING media.com. Thanks for listening to the What the Nell podcast.